how you doing? Those were some very moving tributes to those people. Thank you very much to the organizers for that. I'm Ryan Hayward, and I'm coming to you today from the Great White North up here in Edmonton. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the game of hex. So, in 1957, in July, Martin Gardner's column in Scientific American was on this game of hex. And for many of us, that's probably when, well, many of us who were already of a certain age, that might be when we first learned the game. So, in case you don't know the game, it's a two-player board game. So it's played on a board like this, covered with hexagons. One player has two sides, the other player has the other two sides. So you can see the two sides for black and two sides for white. It's an alternate turn game. So on a turn, you place a stone of your color in any empty cell. So here, black and white are playing. Black wants to join the two black sides. White wants to join the two white sides. Okay, who wins? You win by joining your two sides, and looking good. Oh, white's gonna block. Oh, black. Boom, the game is over. Black wins. Okay, so Martin Gardner's column was a wonderful introduction to the game. So there's 3 or 4 pages in Scientific American, 1957. There's a bit of history. There's some properties of the game. So draws are not possible. No matter how you play, the game cannot end at a draw. On an n by n board, so a 6 by 6 board like we just saw, there exists a winning strategy for the first player. On the other hand, if there are more rows than columns or more columns than rows in your board, then there's a simpler winning strategy for the player whose sides are closer together. So all this was explained by Martin Gardner. And he talked about some variants of the game, for example, reverse hex, where whoever joins their two sides is the loser. He also talked about some particular strategies on small boards. So there exists a winning strategy for the first player, but do we know how to play and win on small boards? Well, this diagram actually shows you how you can play first on the center of a 5 by 5 board, and yeah, just sort of follow the spider lines. You can, no matter what the opponent does, black will be able to win this game. And of course, puzzles. So in that original column, Martin Gardner gave some puzzles, and here's one of them. Whites to play and win here. Okay, so I got interested in hex when I was working on my PhD. For 2 or 3 months, I was more interested in hex than on my PhD, which was, at the time. The good news was I didn't worry about that too much. But anyway, later on, it's like I wanted to revamp, expand Martin Gardner's original column. So I wrote this book, Hex the Full Story, and Bjarne Toft helped me finish it off. So what's in the book? Well, it's a history of the game. So take Martin Gardner's original column, and then just ask yourself any questions that come to mind when you read that column. And that's kind of what went in the book for me anyway. So how did Martin Gardner learn about hex in 1957? Well, he probably learned about it because there was a commercial version of the game that had been published in 1950 by Parker Brothers. And where did he get the hex puzzle from his column? Well, Parker Brothers put him in touch with Pete Hein, who'd invented the game in 1942 in Denmark. So he reached out to Pete Hein, and that was the start of a great collaboration between those two. And who taught Martin Gardner how to play hex as he was writing this column? He actually got an in-person lesson from John Nash one evening. They spent a couple of hours together playing and talking about hex. And what about the puzzle? Did Pete Hein make the puzzle that he sent Martin Gardner? Well, no. If you look into the history of that, it turns out that Pete Hein used crowdsourcing to create his puzzles. He got other people to make the puzzles for him. So here's a letter he received from reader Karen Torburg, and he sent that off to his hex puzzle specialist, Jens Linhart, and they designed a puzzle based on that. So if you want to get the book, or if you want your library to get the book, there's a link here and you can order the book. The second book I want to talk to you about is, so that was the history, complete history, 300 pages of the game of hex. This is a quick intro from a mathematical point of view. So if you want to like give a book to some young high school student or university student and get them into hex, then that's what this was for. It's like 120 pages, just to get you going. And some of the things that are in this book, for example, Martin Gardner talked about how you can actually win pretty easily if you play first on the 5x5 board. What about 6x6? When he wrote his column, he didn't know the answer to that question. Well, these 6 diagrams show you how to win if you play first on the 6x6 board. And this was actually known to Pete Hein's prime puzzle maker, Jens Linhart. So that's a new mathematical library book from the Math Association of America book series. So those are the 2 books I wanted to talk about. And here's a puzzle I've created for you, Black to Play and Win. And this is based on the puzzle that Karen Torburg suggested to Pete Hein about 70 years ago. And here's a bonus puzzle for you. So this is another variant of the game. It's called Y.
We need to wrap it up now.
Sides. To win this game, you have to form a connected component that touches all 3 sides. So this is black to play. There are only 2 winning moves. Can you find them? Thank you very much. I wish I were there with you. Think of you when you're having a delicious meal.